Good morning, Brendan. Awesome. Great to hear. All right, we'll give it a couple of minutes just to see if anybody is going to be a little bit late before we begin. Thanks so much for attending. All right, I think we can probably get started. Hello, everybody. My name is Joe. I am the partner manager here at Pinch Payments. Welcome to our first ever partner webinar. It also happens to be our very first webinar at all. So new territory here for Pinch. But before we begin, please know that if you have any feedback after this presentation, I am super keen to hear it. So please email me, joe@getpinch.com.au, to let me know if you thought it was good, bad, you thought I needed to wear makeup, my mic levels were poor. I really don't mind. I'm interested in all of your feedback. Hello, Tina, and hello, Dan, and to everybody else. Good afternoon, Queensland time. Also, if you do have any questions during this presentation, feel free to post them in the chat, or you can email them to me afterwards. I will do a little scan through the questions at the end of the presentation and answer any that I think might have value for the group. If I don't answer your question during the webinar, I will definitely email you back those. So feel free to ask as many questions as you wish. All right, so why are we here? Today's webinar is to help you, our value partners, stay up to date with everything Pinch Payments. As many of the longer standing partners know, during 2023, we completely rethought how we were approaching partnerships. And after reaching out to and engaging our partners, we discovered a few things. One, you guys are really interested in Pinch. So we're taking it upon ourselves to be a lot more communicative and a lot more transparent about what we're up to, what we've done, what we're doing. Two, a lot of you are really enthusiastic about the payment space and the industry itself, about learning more about what it is that we do and the market and the industry that we're in. So part of these webinars, we'll be talking about topics as they come to hand that matter to the industry at an economic level. And thirdly, our product and features kept changing so much that it was really hard for you guys to keep on top of how to best position and talk about Pinch to your customers. So, and because a lot of you are also Pinch merchants, we also found that by speaking with you guys as merchants, we were able to discover that the merchants were feeling the same way as well. So if our partners were finding it difficult to stay on top of what we were up to, then I can't imagine what it was like for all of our merchants. So that's why we're doing this. And because it's the very first one, it's going to be fairly high level. It's going to be a review and a preview of the direction of Pinch. But moving forward, you can expect them to be a fair bit more brief than what this one will be. More focused on changes, more focused on things that have happened over the previous month, as opposed to this one, which is going to be more about over the previous year. And we will also be inviting partners to present during our webinars moving forward. So any partners are welcome to put their hand up to talk about anything that they wish, really, as long as it's relevant. The products that you sell, the services that you offer, specifically things that you've learned about Pinch, anything really. If you're interested, shoot me an email and we can discuss it. Last thing, I am doing this webinar from the comfort of my own home. So if you hear any screaming children in the background, I do apologize in advance. And don't be weirded out if I completely pretend like they're not there. All right, on with the show. Alrighty, so to start with, we're going to talk a little bit about 2023 and what we got up to in 2023. So first and foremost, during 2023, we accomplished a lot, and it was through a lot of experimentation, a lot of planning, a lot of doing things like reaching out to our existing partners and learning about how you guys perceive Pinch, and through it all, we achieved some pretty awesome results. We added a dedicated customer success person, which I'm sure many of you have had lots to do with, and he has been an absolute breath of fresh air when it comes to delivering improved merchant support, improved guided onboarding sessions, and driving the utilization of the platform. We overhauled the partner program, as I spoke about before. We launched a new product called Glassbox, which is an enterprise play that services banks and businesses software businesses that process transactions inside of their own platform. It's a very, very high level product, but if you're in the enterprise space particularly, you might be interested in that. And we now have over 60 partners, which is quite impressive, from accounting firms to bookkeepers, software developers, other software providers, and everyday businesses that just love Pinch. And I can see one of each of you on the call, which is great. And perhaps most importantly, but probably least relevant to you, is we grew our revenue by 75%. But it's always nice to know that you are partnered with a company that's actually progressive. So I hope that gives you a little bit more confidence to position Pinch with your customers. Alrighty, so in 2023, we had over 900 new businesses switch to Pinch, which is pretty amazing for a company that has 8 employees. We are now the #1 rated payments app on the Xero App Store, which puts us ahead of the likes of GoCardless, Stripe, PayPal, Square. I mean, when you're #1, it puts you ahead of everyone, really. We now process approximately $20 million in total transaction volumes. I know it says 15 million there, but Paul told me at the last minute I was wrong, and I forgot to update that number. It's actually 20. We have a single merchant now transacting in excess of $2 million of total volume through the platform every single month. And we have seen a lot of new verticals, which is interesting because as a company that really specializes in not just payments, but specifically pre-approvals and auto payments, we're seeing a lot more businesses that are changing the way that they work to make that kind of payments solution work for them. And that's being driven obviously by the economic climate really putting pressure on businesses to improve their cash flow. But that being said, even though we have seen a lot of new verticals, especially things like education businesses, private schools, tutoring companies, stuff like that, our bread and butter is still obviously accountants, professional services businesses, and home services businesses and wholesalers, as it always has been. Allow me to briefly touch on Glassbox. I won't bore you with too much of the detail on Glassbox, but what Glassbox is a merchant management platform. So what that means is that if you're a business, a software company that manages your own merchants and you actually process and distribute payments to them, like a product marketplace or a job management platform or something like that, Glassbox allows you to run your business on the day-to-day and be compliant. So it's a particularly niche product, but it is a massive product for businesses that have high volumes of transactions. And we are very interested in hearing from anyone out there who potentially has interest in Glassbox. So if you have any other software companies you're partnered with that you think might benefit from that, feel free to put them in touch with me and feel free to scan that QR code to learn more about Glassbox if you're interested. Speaking of Glassbox, during 2023, we were very proud to launch our very first embedded payments partner, WorkGuru. WorkGuru released a product that they've called GuruPay, which is essentially a white labeled version of the Pinch product features within their own platform. So WorkGuru customers can now take online payments after sending invoices from WorkGuru without having to send the invoices from another system or without having to go and manually add links to their invoices. And they can also do things like send quotes and have their customers accept them via deposit, which is pretty awesome. And they're going to be continuing to roll out new features throughout the year. So huge thanks to Tony and the team at WorkGuru for trusting us with that. And if you're a little bit more interested in the specifics, feel free to scan that QR code and learn more about GuruPay. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the product evolution. During 2023, we did heaps of stuff. A lot of it was very detailed. A lot of it was, fixing things specifically for, one single merchant here or there. So, we didn't just do 4 things, but these 4 things were the things that we think that really moved the needle the most when it comes to positioning Pinch as a strong solution and the day-to-day management of Pinch and making Pinch easier for you guys to use. So the big one that we launched late last year was complete overhaul to our customers interface, combining the managed pre-approvals feature, combining the customer portals management feature, and adding things like filtering and sorting to make sure that you guys can better manage your pinch files, and so can the merchants that you refer. One of the great things that also led to was us being able to offer you guys a chance to remove all of those pesky files that come from your Xero or QuickBooks or MyOb import that aren't actually genuine payers. So you can log into your Pinch account now, filter by customers you've never invoiced, click select all, and bulk disable them. So even though that seems like a pretty simple feature, and a pretty like maybe low key feature, I know given the amount of feedback we had about that, it's probably going to be a big win for many people. Another feature that we're very excited about is the new surcharging option, which allows merchants to automatically absorb the transaction fee when customers are on a pre-approval. Now, that's particularly powerful for businesses that are moving from having no auto payment solution whatsoever, really looking to improve their cash flow and are worried about potentially getting their customers offside in the process. By enabling that feature, you can essentially offer your customers a choice between paying you on time every time and not having to pay the transaction fees, or paying you whenever they feel like and paying the transaction fees. So it's a pretty obvious choice for businesses like that, of which obviously a lot of our new merchants are, because we are definitely promoting ourselves as a solution for cash flow and late payment. We also made some huge changes to the customer portal. Namely, we have now enabled it so that customers who sign up to Pinch through the customer portal can also set up a pre-approval instead of it just being for processing payments. And the early signs are extremely promising. We have seen that since we've enabled that feature, around 50% of payers who create a Pinch customer portal account are actually enabling pre-approval. And that's somewhat by design, because the way that we built it was definitely to encourage them to do that. And that particularly works really well hand in hand with that new surcharging option that we spoke about before, because when customers set up a customer portal account, they can see right then and there that they can avoid paying fees if they just simply switch that enable pre-approval option on. So as you can see, a lot of what we've done is very strategic. They might seem in isolation like features that might not necessarily do all that much, but in concert with one another and doing things the way that we intend, it can be extremely transformative for a lot of businesses. And finally, you can now set up payment plans to allow customers to pay off their late invoices in smaller installments at the click of a button. Every new Pinch merchant account that signs up has a few template payment plans right then and there. So when you are viewing the invoice in the back end of Pinch, if you want to break it down and offer a customer the ability to pay it off in smaller installments, you can do that simply by pressing the Choose Payment Plan button on the screen. It's a really, really good tool for anybody out there who actually chases overdue invoices manually, which a lot of the accountants and bookkeepers that are watching this probably do. So give it a try. We're going to be continuing to enhance that feature as time goes on. All right, enough about 2023. Let's talk about 2024. Okay, so in 2024, we've got some pretty big ambitions. Probably a couple of things jumping off the screen there for you guys. One is we are intending to look at potentially releasing some point of sale solutions, offering terminals and a point of sale integration. Two, we are looking at e-commerce. In fact, we are in the process right now of developing our very first Pinch-owned e-commerce plugin with WooCommerce. But down the line, we'll obviously be looking to expand that into things like Shopify as well. Integration partners, that's something that we actually focused a fair bit on in 2023. We've partnered up with a few ecosystem partners like PacePaid, PaidNice, Canu, several others. And you can actually find our ecosystem partners page on the website in the partners section. So if you go to our website and have a look at the partners section, you'll be able to navigate to the ecosystem partners page, and you'll have a look at all of the integration partners that we've signed up. And we're going to continue really trying hard to expand into that. Spoiler alert maybe, but we've been having some pretty exciting conversations with the likes of Sin7 Core and SimPro about potentially expanding into embedded payments on that side of things with them as well. So that should be pretty cool if that all comes off. We are going to be adding a lot of new team members, so you'll be seeing a lot of new faces around the place at Pinch. We will be obviously further developing the Pinch Payments product, introducing even more automation features so that that customer portal invitation can be something that you guys can switch on and automate, as well as adding things like payment links. We are looking to raise a little bit of capital to invest in growth. So if anybody out there is interested in investing or knows somebody who might, feel free to put them in touch with us, specifically reaching out to Paul if you have his details, or me if you don't. And we are going to be focusing a lot, and I mean a lot. This is probably going to be our primary focus, is our API experience. So improving the API documents and the code. We have welcomed Damien to our team as our first ever dev advocate, and he's already made lots of inroads into improving the accessibility and usability of the API, which has already seen great dividends. So on that topic, speaking a little bit more about an improved Pinch for developers experience, and my image is not loading there and I don't know why. In 2024, we will be revamping our offering as an API integrated payments company. So that's where we started for those who have been around for the long haul of the journey. Before we actually built the Pinch Payments product, it was an API. And we've focused obviously over the last few years in that software as a service product that we've developed. But we have decided to go back to the well and really focus on API integrated solutions. So we're looking to grow our partner base with software developers, web developers, anybody who's building software, building platforms out there. That's looking for a genuine alternative to Stripe, that's looking for a local alternative to Stripe that's more collaborative and negotiable on things. Hit us up because we are very interested. And if you're interested in hearing more about that, feel free to scan that QR code right there. Alrighty, we are nearly over. This has been a whirlwind. It feels like it's gone a lot faster than it has. But just a few things to leave you with, some facts that I tend to find myself constantly bringing up every time that I have a merchant onboarding call or a demo. I seem to be bringing this stuff up and it seems to resonate. So I thought I'd share it with you today. So Xero released data, it was actually last year, that shows over half of Australian invoices are paid late. That's pretty crazy to think of. And the average days late is now over 23 days, and it's increasing. And they've specifically implied that automatic invoice payment solutions are one of, if not the most viable solution to the problem. So obviously that's talking about specifically things like the Pinch pre-approval solution. So if you as a partner are really looking to kind of, de-risk, future-proof, improve the quality of life and the growth prospects of your customers, you really should be thinking about pushing people towards going that pre-approvals route. We have partners on this call right now that have gone 100% pre-approvals as home services businesses, as professional services businesses, and changed their business life. Never having to chase invoices, never having to worry about whether that invoice that they sent is going to get paid. It's extremely transformative for a business owner. Over $115 billion of small business invoices were paid late in Australia in 2022. So Aussie small businesses are an unsecured interest-free money lender that has as much debt owed to it as a small bank. It's crazy to think. Another thing that we found in 2023 was the RBA consumer payments behavior stats, which on the payer side were really interesting, noting that there has been a massive increase in the amount of automatic payments that each household is making. Is a pretty good indication that people are starting to just really want to just be able to put everything on autopilot, even on the payer side. So things that you might not have ever thought before were potentially automatically payable, people are now starting to accept it. So, the constant the constant things that we hear is, our customers are probably not going to want to go for this. And as you can see from not just this data, but also the way that we've developed the products, that's sort of that particular objection that we really focus on trying to build tools to work around, to make it so that it's less of an ask and more of an obvious thing for your customers to choose to do. and especially considering that it's actually seeming to just be happening organically anyway. One thing that we like to always leave people with is this simple, I guess, we call it the triple trouble of payments, and it's how late payment relates to growth. Businesses struggle to grow if they struggle to get paid. The same Xero report that we were speaking about earlier shows that businesses that have overdue payments crunches grow 3 times slower than businesses that don't actually suffer from overdue invoice payment. So if you are a growth consultant or an accountant that likes to think that you're a growth consultant or tell people that you're a growth consultant, challenging your customers on how they invoice and how their payers are paying them is a very strategic and very, I guess, successful way to stimulate growth in a business, as I'm sure many of the partners here that have adopted pre-approvals can attest. And that's that. So thank you so much for joining us today. If you want to catch up with me after this, feel free to scan that QR code and book a partner meeting with me. This will go out as a replay, so if you want to watch it back, feel free to. I don't see any questions, but I will stay on the call for a few minutes if anybody has any to ask me. Thanks so much.